In early 2024, Laura Wilson was traveling once again, balancing farm leadership and public engagements when devastating news struck from home. A horrific equipment accident at her family's Nebraska farm brought operations to a sudden halt. The family patriarch, Cale Carlson, was critically injured while inspecting a mechanized harvesting system. Within minutes, a 5-generation agricultural operation faced uncertainty, production schedules froze, contracts trembled, and the carefully built trust between partners and suppliers stood at risk. In less than 2 days, Laura found herself confronting the greatest test of her life, protecting both her injured father and the legacy entrusted to her care. The accident that changed everything. The accident occurred in March 2024 at the equipment repair facility of the family's 2,000-acre operation in Hamilton County. Cale Carlson, a central technical and managerial force behind the farm, suffered severe injuries involving a combine harvester. The injuries required emergency intervention and months of rehabilitation at Grand Island Medical Center. Beyond the immediate medical crisis, the operational shockwaves were immense. Cale was not only the legal owner, but the farm's primary systems coordinator. His sudden absence disrupted machinery oversight, planting preparation, vendor communication, and workforce supervision at the most critical pre-planting stage of the year. A farm under pressure, spring planting season is unforgiving. Timing determines yield, and yield determines survival. With over 2,000 acres dedicated primarily to corn and soybeans, alongside livestock and poultry operations, the workload was already intense. Cale's roles in technical maintenance, crop scheduling, and mechanical troubleshooting could not be replaced overnight. Laura and her husband Grant immediately assumed full operational control. They managed leased land, honored equipment agreements, and attempted to maintain supplier confidence. Yet early internal reports revealed sobering numbers. Projected yields dropped nearly 18% compared to the previous year due to disruptions and procedural adjustments. Financial strain and contract uncertainty. The production decline rippled through the farm's broader financial ecosystem. Cooperative agreements for seed supply, deferred machinery servicing, and crop distribution contracts were temporarily paused or renegotiated. Lenders requested updated forecasts. Equipment maintenance schedules required outsourcing at higher costs. Laura presented a mid-year update to private stakeholders, acknowledging both reduced output and the need for structural reform. The farm's reputation remained strong, but trust required transparency. Every communication carried weight. The family understood that survival depended not just on planting crops, but on reinforcing credibility within Nebraska's interconnected agricultural network. A wake-up call for safety? In June 2024, speaking at the Midwest Agricultural Conference, Laura addressed the incident publicly for the first time. She described the accident as a turning point, not only for her family, but for the broader farming community. Agriculture remains one of the most mechanized yet inconsistently regulated industries. Regarding safety training and equipment maintenance standards, Laura emphasized that precision farming cannot exist without precision safety. The tragedy revealed vulnerabilities in family-operated systems, where experience often substitutes for formalized protocols. Her message was clear: resilience must include reform, not merely recovery. Restructuring the operational model. In the months following the accident, Laura Family Farms initiated comprehensive restructuring. Independent mechanical contractors replaced informal family-led equipment oversight. Professional safety consultants reviewed traffic patterns, maintenance logs, and emergency response procedures. Mandatory occupational safety training sessions were introduced for all seasonal and permanent workers. State-level agricultural organizations supervised compliance measures. The goal was not temporary adjustment, but systemic change. By decentralizing technical responsibilities and strengthening documentation standards, Laura aimed to reduce dependence on any single individual and build a structure capable of withstanding unexpected disruptions. Roots of a 5-generation legacy. To understand the gravity of the crisis, one must understand the farm's history. Founded in 1910 by Laura's Swedish immigrant great-grandfather in Marquette, Nebraska, the farm began with only a few dozen acres. Over 5 generations, it expanded into a diversified ecosystem combining row crops, cattle, and advanced mechanization. Cale Carlson represented the fourth generation and the first to integrate digital communication and agricultural education into daily operations. The farm symbolized both tradition and adaptation, a living testament to immigrant perseverance and rural innovation in the American Midwest. Laura's early preparation for leadership. Laura, born the eldest of 5 siblings, grew up immersed in decentralized farm management. At 13, she managed her own small cattle herd with independent budgeting and performance reporting. This hands-on training model fostered accountability early. After graduating high school, she studied business administration before pursuing applied agricultural science. Although she paused formal university study in 2020 to focus on farming and media expansion, her education informed strategic planning. By 2023, she oversaw a 160-acre demonstration tract equipped with advanced irrigation and soil analytics technology, positioning her as successor within the family's phased transition plan, the digital evolution of a farmer. Since 2020, Laura had become a leading voice in agricultural media. Through her educational platforms, she documented real-time planting cycles, machinery operations, and management insights. Her approach blended transparency with technical clarity, attracting millions of followers and nearly 1 billion cumulative views by late 2023. She represented a new model, the agri-media hybrid. By integrating content creation with production, she enhanced public understanding of farming while creating supplemental revenue streams. This visibility amplified both opportunity and responsibility when crisis struck. Stakeholders now watched closely, not only neighbors, but a national audience. Community anchors in a time of crisis. When the accident occurred, the surrounding community mobilized swiftly. Local government offices arranged temporary labor grants and partial equipment tax relief. Neighboring farmers shared storage facilities and machinery and rotational partnerships. Religious organizations organized emotional support initiatives and fundraising efforts. Laura's mother, Megan Carlson, coordinated medical logistics and financial documentation while implementing a home-based rehabilitation schedule. Siblings returned from school and outside employment to assist. The crisis revealed the strength of intergenerational and community networks woven through rural life. No single household carried the burden alone. Faith and collective resilience. Spiritual grounding played a quiet but central role in sustaining morale. Local faith communities emphasized collective responsibility and compassion during hardship. Counseling resources supported family members and staff processing trauma from the accident. By autumn 2024, Laura helped establish a voluntary peer support network for agricultural households facing sudden personnel crises. More than 300 participants joined online forums sharing resources, financial advice, and emotional guidance. What began as a personal emergency evolved into a collaborative model of rural resilience, demonstrating how shared experience can transform vulnerability into collective strength. Rebuilding for 2025 and beyond entering 2025, Laura Family Farms formalized a new leadership structure. Grant assumed the role of technical executive overseeing mechanized operations and maintenance audits. Laura directed strategic coordination, communications, and safety integration. 2 mechanical technicians and a crop data analyst joined the team, strengthening redundancy. Precision agriculture technologies, including satellite monitoring and ground sensors, were incorporated to assess soil health, pest patterns, and machine performance in real time. Operational risk maps identified high-traffic zones and maintenance intervals, turning data into preventative safety tools rather than reactive measures. Education as expansion. In February 2025, Laura launched the AgriSafe Hamilton initiative in partnership with nonprofit organizations and equipment manufacturers. The program delivered seminars on machinery maintenance, first aid, and emergency response protocols. Within 3 months, more than 1,000 participants, including young farmers and agricultural students, completed workshops. Simultaneously, the farm collaborated with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln on research integrating automated soil analytics and operational safety metrics. A published white paper outlining crisis recovery strategies circulated among Midwest agricultural institutions, positioning the farm as both practitioner and educator. Influence on national policy. Laura's leadership attracted national recognition. In mid-2025, she joined a United States Department of Agriculture task force, focused on modernizing small and mid-sized farm management. Her contributions emphasized non-financial risk mitigation, worker safety, psychological resilience, and continuity planning during unexpected leadership transitions. The farm's evolution from a family-run production unit into a multifaceted hub of production, education, and policy engagement reflected strategic adaptation rather than mere survival. What began as tragedy catalyzed innovation, reshaping not only one operation, but informing broader agricultural practices across the Midwest. Conclusion: strength revealed in adversity. The accident that nearly paralyzed Laura Family Farms ultimately revealed its deepest strengths. Tradition provided roots, technology offered tools, community delivered support, leadership supplied vision. Laura Wilson stepped into crisis not as a symbol, but as a steward determined to protect both family and future. Through restructuring, transparency, and collaborative reform, the farm emerged more resilient than before. Today, its story stands as a testament to how coordinated response, clearly defined roles, and community-centered adaptation can transform operational disaster into sustainable renewal. In adversity, true strength is not declared, it is demonstrated. In early 2024, Laura Wilson was traveling once again, balancing farm leadership and public engagements, when devastating news struck from home. A horrific equipment accident at her family's Nebraska farm brought operations to a sudden halt. The family patriarch, Cale Carlson, was critically injured while inspecting a mechanized harvesting system. Within minutes, a 5-generation agricultural operation faced uncertainty. Production schedules froze, contracts trembled, and the carefully built trust between partners and suppliers stood at risk. In less than 2 days, Laura found herself confronting the greatest test of her life, protecting both her injured father and the legacy entrusted to her care.